Hi, I'm Eduardo Neret with Campus Reform. Today I'm joined by Cameron Sorsby, the CEO of Praxis. He's here today to talk to us about what his organization is offering as an alternative to college, especially, I think, during this interesting time of the coronavirus and online learning. He's going to give us some great insight to that. Cameron, thanks for joining us. I think my first question, and this is something I was trying to do by going on your guys' website, which there are a ton of frequently asked questions area. There's a ton of explainers. There's a ton of information to just give a viewer, someone who goes to your site, information about what you guys do. But why don't you start off by telling the viewer what Praxis is, what you guys offer, and what you guys do.
Yeah, absolutely. So Praxis is a 6-month startup career bootcamp. So we help our participants launch their career by gaining real world skills during the bootcamp. And then ultimately they get placed at a growing startup all across the country in entry-level positions to get their career started.
So are these general skills that you're kind of teaching across all areas that would be applicable to any industry, or can they select when they sign up? What are some of the skills that you guys offer?
Yeah, so our approach is we do take a more generalist approach, and the types of jobs that our participants get are really across the board in non-technical roles like sales, marketing, operations. And the type of person who's a good fit is, if you're a little bit entrepreneurial, you have a strong work ethic, you probably have stronger personal and communication skills. We're taking that type of person and helping them identify like what are ideal career paths, and then what are like the core foundational skills that you need to have to be ready to go into those career paths.
Sure. Well, you touched upon it a little bit, and I was going to ask you, what type of people are you targeting? Are you targeting, people coming out of high school? Are you targeting maybe young professionals who never pursued college in the first place? Are you going after demographics who maybe are on the fence about college anyway for financial reasons or for other reasons? Who do you try to go after the most?
Yep. So it really is positioned as a college alternative. So most of our participants are either doing Praxis, either right after high school or a year after high school. Maybe they took some time off, or we have a lot of participants that went to college for 1 or 2 years, kind of realized it was more of the same from their high school experience, and then they came across Praxis as a way to start their career. And then we also work with, some like younger career transition types. So people that have been in teaching for a few years and just realize like, hey, I don't want to pursue a long-term career in teaching.
Right.
I think what the commonality is that it's the participant who does Praxis wants more than what college has to offer. And they want to take more control over their own career and their own education.
And what do you, I guess, compared to a 4-year degree? I know this is a 6-month program, and then maybe you could walk me through after they get placed. Does the individual is the program over and they have maybe little or lesser contact with Praxis moving forward after that point? But I guess either way, yeah. What is the cost comparison between doing the 6-month boot camp skills training versus, a 4-year degree? How big of a difference are we talking? And, do people, when they sign up for Praxis, do they pay for the 6 months in full? Do they pay? How does that work?
Yeah. So our tuition is $12,000, and that's for the 6-month program. But one of my favorite things about Praxis is that our graduates have a long-term relationship with the Praxis community. And that's one of our biggest features that we prioritize as part of the experience. So the core program is focused on that boot camp, is focused on getting your career started with that job placement. But then it's much more than that. So it becomes a long-term professional development community. We have weekly workshops. We have participants that start their own professional development groups on different professional topics like sales, or just like, hey, everybody that's working on a side project, we're going to be meeting weekly and giving each other feedback and accountability. Really like a more organic community as you grow in your career beyond just the program. The pricing, like I said, is $12,000. And then we offer various payment plans. So you can pay upfront, or you can pay on, timelines of anywhere from 6 to 18 months. And the goal is, obviously make the program as financially accessible to everyone. And our biggest advantage there is that we're producing, real job outcomes within 6 months. So our participants average $50,000 with their first year salary. So they're earning much more than what they're paying for the program in that first 6 months on the job. And, compared to college, where you're going to be shackled with student debt long term, and you're not sure if they're going to produce the professional outcomes that you're looking for.
For sure. And I think it's a fascinating alternative. Like you said, when you spend 4 years in school or longer, you do dig up yourself a huge hole if you're having to take out loans, that even if you come out with a good starting salary in that first or second year, you still got, years, if you're lucky,
right.
to pay off that student.
And, I think the biggest pain point there is beyond just like, hey, I have these, pretty substantial student debt payments. It really limits your flexibility with how you approach your career. So when you're coming out of college with that debt, now you're kind of forced to prioritize, okay, how can I maximize my income as soon as possible because I have all this debt to pay off? What's really cool about Praxis, for 80% of our participants never went to college, so they don't have that student debt. They're getting as good or better outcomes than they would go to college. And then the game changer, I think, is that they now have the flexibility to like, hey, maybe you want to take a year off and like try to start your own business, or you want to travel. Like, you have more options when you don't, as an 18-year-old, you don't commit to 4 to 6 years of college and the cost that comes with that.
No, and that's a great point. And I don't think people talk about that enough when talking about the other effects of what taking on debt means to the rest of your career. Something I want to ask you, and I came upon your guys' organization, your company, really as we're seeing a more movement to online learning, at least in the short term because of the coronavirus, but it's raised a lot of questions how it's going to be for the future. So on that point, my first question is, how have you seen a change in your business at all because of a move to online learning because of the coronavirus? Have you seen a spike in subscribers, or at least are you getting people maybe more often than usual reaching out, asking you, hey, what do you guys do? I mean, how has this large national trend now of moving to online learning affected you guys?
Yeah. So, for us, it's obviously still very early. It's been 3 weeks or so since everything kind of slowed down and locked down. We're very fortunate that we've always, the program itself is run remotely. So all of our programming is done online. And it's been really cool to see because we've been able to offer even more value to our participants during this time. Like, we've ramped up the weekly workshops, and we do like happy hours with our participants, just giving them more opportunities to engage and everybody's stuck at home right now, so they have even more time to work on Praxis. So they're able to get even more out of the program right now. Whereas compared to college, I think at this point, it's being exposed a little bit. If your college experience is reduced to, hey, I'm just sitting in this online class now, and my teachers, my professors are probably not accustomed to running classes online, then I think, we've had people reaching out to us because that have already been kind of considering, not pursuing traditional college. And I think it's kind of accelerated that thought of like, okay, like, what are my other options and stuff? Like, I'm I'm paying all this money and I'm only receiving, an online class. If that's all college is able to offer, there's plenty of online education, plenty of online courses that you can take for a fraction of the cost.
Well, yeah, and it raises the question, why am I paying tens of thousands of dollars
Right.
a year for this? And like you
Yep.
said, I think exposed is a good way of putting it. Um, and I'm sure you know this. I've talked to some experts who say putting together a great online course could take 6 months to a year. And as you mentioned, a lot of these professors were having to do it, in a 1 or 2 week span. That's obviously not their fault, but they're certainly not getting the same education as they would in
Right.
the classroom. I want to ask you, there was a poll that recently came out that said because of everything that's been going on, because of the situation, students moving online, a lot of schools are saying, the summer term is going to be online completely, that now 1 in 6 high school seniors are saying they're going to reconsider college as an option in the fall, that they may not go. What is your reaction to that poll? What is your reaction to that? Such a spike in such a short amount of time. You said it was 3 weeks, but we're already seeing an effect of people, like you said, on the fence saying, well, actually, this proves my point. Maybe I shouldn't consider college.
Yeah, I think broadly speaking, what the COVID-19 situation, it's excelling a lot of trends that are going to be happening no matter what over the next 5 to 10 years. So the fact that all it takes is like a 3-week, pause for that many people to consider like, okay, like actually, let me see what else is out there. I think that's really telling that there's been an underlying, kind of trend moving away from college being just like the default option of what you do as you get your career started. So, it's a silver lining for me with everything that's going on, that, hey, like, it just makes it easier for people that were probably already questioning whether college was right for them. And it's making it easier for them to decide, like, figure out what else is out there. And what I'm most optimistic about is that there's more options than ever. So Praxis is a great fit for a certain type of person. We really look for that driven, a little bit entrepreneurial person that's not going to be afraid to, work really hard and do grunt work to get their career started, because there's so much upside with the types of opportunities you can pursue through the program. But, I think there's plenty of people that it's easier than ever to just start your career without relying on college or a formal program. Or, if you're interested in more tech-based skills, like there's more coding boot camps out there than ever. You can learn how to code on your own through online courses and everything. So what I'm most hopeful of is that people are starting to see, okay, college doesn't have to be, I don't have to be forced to do college because that's what everybody does. I can decide for myself what's best for me.
Yeah, and you're offering people that choice, and choices, when you have more of them is always better. Cameron, I want to thank you for joining us. Where can people go if they want to learn more about Praxis, if they want to get information on the first steps to sign up, or at least to start considering it? Where can they go?
Yeah, the website, discoverpraxis.com, is your best starting point. And there's a lot of information on there, and we regularly host online info sessions that you can sign up for too.
Well, I invite all our viewers, if they're interested, to go to discoverpraxis.com, check out those info sessions. Again, Cameron, thank you for joining us.
How's it going? I'm Eduardo Neret with Campus Reform. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to subscribe to get our latest content, click right here. If you're interested in joining our team as a correspondent or an investigator, click there. And if you want to donate to make sure we can create more great content like this, click right here.